Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My bar rats, assemble. Come to me. Oh, did my light blow out? Daggone thing has no battery life. Anyway, welcome to Rickcast. It is April 1st, 2025. That's right. April Fools. And I hope everybody had a very low-key April Fools. You know, you weren't the victim of any particular pranks. And if you were the victim of a particular prank or two, I'm sorry, and I hope it wasn't too traumatic. But we've got a wonderful show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking a little about April Fools, the best April Fool pranks on the web. Luigi Mangione is back in the news because the United States Department of Justice, still not anywhere near the Epstein files, has decided they are laying out specific charges for Mr. Mangione, which we'll get into as we go along. The one story, the two stories in the back half of the program are the ones I really going to want to focus on. This House vote on proxy voting really gets my grinds my gears, if you will. And the fact is, it is a continued submission to the matriarchal culture, and the fact that you had 8 or 9 Republicans break away from the Republican Party, which tried to block this. Essentially, what the vote was today was to have proxy voting, meaning vote from home, for a bunch of people that don't do anything anyway. Now they wanted to do less and do it from their home. Now, if you're not going to be able to stick around to the Lou is in the Rumble chat. Lou, you are just my finest soldier, and I love it. This is absolutely ridiculous. This idea that we have to allow proxy voting for women because of babies or whatever the case may be. Let me just give you the TLDR. If you're, not going to be around for the rest of the show, if you got to duck out early, what happens if your Mitch McConnell is in office, but he went back to Kentucky and he passes on while still in office? The chalkboard needs to be explained daily. That's an April Fool's joke. If I have to explain it, Steph, it's not funny. Put all your money on Enron. It's an April Fool's joke, Steph. You're my de facto liberal. So you got to, you know what, chat? Help her out next time. I can't stop the show to explain a joke. I love you, but no. It's actually a brain buster for you, darling. Anyway, so let's say Dianne Feinstein or Mitch McConnell is out in their home state and they die. With proxy voting, their administrators could proxy vote for them until the end of their term, or whatever the case may be. These people want to do less work. Yeah, April Fools, right? You got me. Steph just April Fools me pretty hard, and that's okay. You know what? I'll give you that one. We'll say that was the reason she got me with the April Fools joke. But the idea. Wait, what? You've got all the Star Wars looking guns made by the pad. Oh, you guys are talking about a certain conversation. I thought you were talking about mine. I'm like, no, it's a Beretta. What are you talking about? That's the Beretta PX4. It's the Langdon Tactical Edition. It's actually one of my favorite guns. Anyway, you're not talking to me. Moving on. So I'm going to get into the proxy vote, why it's a bad thing, why it's pathetic, why these men simp to the matriarchal culture and continue to prop up women who I don't even think should be in Congress. If you are a newborn mother, you should not be in Congress. You shouldn't run. She was there when she got pregnant, supposedly, so she would know with the math coming out that she would not be able, that she would be a new mother during her term in Congress. And now we got to bend the rules to that. Sorry, it's not a thing. And it's another example of covert feminism because you had Paulina Luna, one of the thirst traps for the conservative men on the quote unquote conservative side, breaking to vote for this rule as well, because she's a new mom and we have to bend over backwards for moms. You know, don't mess with moms, and we have to make sure they're completely, you know what, maybe a mom doesn't have to be in Congress. Maybe she doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that's something we could talk about. And then, of course, this one, I don't know if it's an April Fool's joke. We'll treat it as such because everybody's reporting on it. But it looks like there are more John Wick films coming out. Now, the ballerina's coming out in June or whatever the case may be, which I will go see. I'm very eager to watch it. And now it looks like Keanu Reeves is coming back, and I'll talk to you about the only way that's going to make sense. And I've talked about it before. There's only one way to have more John Wick in John Wick films and have it make sense, but I'll save that for the end of the show. But we got a great April Fool's joke or April Fool's Day for you. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Not being censored as much today on X. You could actually see the video feed. So I guess my ranting and raving, so it worked a little bit, but it is what it is in that regard. So yes, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you're into it, my Catholic Reacts video to Daredevil episode 7 will air tonight after Daredevil episode 7. So yeah, if you're into it, I'd love to hang out with you. If not, I get it, because Daredevil is not a great show, and I'm unfortunately watching it. So let's get to our first story of the day. Right there. First one, let's go to groundnews.com. Cory Booker apparently wanted to make a name for himself and decided to filibuster for 19 hours in a prolonged protest against President Trump's policies and the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk. And this guy right here, it's the most work he's ever done or ever will do. And back in the day, filibusters used to be a big deal. Like, oh, wow, this guy's filibustering. This is crazy. Of course, you would filibuster things like endless war or this kind of budget or this other kinds of thing. But instead, you got Cory Booker ranting like a lunatic, because that's all he knows how to do, for 19 hours. And I think some and you know what, even if he broke it, nobody would care. Nobody would care, because Cory Booker is an inconsequential member of the political class. He's so inconsequential, they tried to get Rosario Dawson to date him, so they didn't think the guy liked other men, which failed spectacularly. It was actually her worst acting job ever, too, which is pretty sad, because she's pretty talented. But this is the first thing that came up. He's protesting something that is actually wildly popular across these United States, cutting wasteful funding, things like USAID and all of these other places that our money is being wasted time after time after time. So, of course, why would you, yeah, that's right, Lou, bless his heart, to try and actually do that, to try and actually protest something that people are actually in favor of. People are actually in favor of the reduction, and nobody cries when they shut down the $600,000 or the $4 million museum to the EPA that was built last year during Joe Biden's years that cost $315 per ticket. And so now that these things have been, now these things are being cut down, people are actually in favor of it. So Cory Booker just looks like a fool doing this, but that's very on brand for Cory Booker. All right, folks, this is Rick Cast. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to our second story, our second hot take warm-up story, while people are kind of coming in, filtering into the building, so we can kind of, before we jump into our first story, which would be the April Fool's stuff. Second story, Donnie T, President Donnie T, came out today and said Republicans must defund and totally disassociate themselves from NPR and PBS, the radical left monsters that so badly want to hurt our country. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do the Trump impression. There's two things on this. First of all, I'm starting a campaign. I'm actually going to start a campaign. I started it today. I'm going to tweet at the NPR station in Austin, because I'm like an hour and a half away from them. And I'm every day, I'm like, hey, if you guys really say there is no political bias, hire me. I have 3 years of experience on the Crusade Radio Network, so I've done radio. I've got this show that I've been doing. I've got a master's in Homeland Security from Penn State. I'm a former teacher. I'm qualified enough for public radio. And if you want to show that there is no political bias, hire me and give me a show. Give me a show 7 a.m. in the morning. Of course, they won't do it, but that just shows that there is a political bias when they try to say these things. So I'm going to continue to bombard NPR to give me a job working there to show that there is no political bias, because it will demonstrate political bias. I mean, it's National Public Radio. They shouldn't say they should not have a leg to stand on to say no to me. What is your objection? I have experience. I'm good at what I do, and I would bring balance to your network. I mean, it wouldn't be balance. It'd be 1 against 75, but still it would show that. Plus, I think I'd be able to speak with the NPR voice. That's right. I can sound like an emotionless loser every single minute of the day. So it's very interesting in that regard. Thank you, Mark. That is very nice of you. I think I would be great on NPR as well. But the fact is they won't do it because it's a liberal rag that's outlived its usefulness. NPR used to exist. And yeah, but I'm giving KUT in Austin an out. Like, hey, hire me. I'm a conservative. I'm a Catholic conservative, man. Hire me and give me a job, and then you can say, hey, we got a guy on staff. He has a show. And then they can go, oh, look, that's great. And it would just, I mean, it'd be a slug fight every single day. I'd have liberal women calling me all kinds of names and telling me stupid stuff. I bet you'd be the most listened to show in Texas if they gave me that job on at NPR, because liberals would just hate listen to it. So Lou tells us she can't disassociate from PBS at the moment. She's got to watch The Mirror and The Light till the end on account that you're a two-door nerd. Totally acceptable. I get it. Sometimes those things happen. So that's cool. I get it. But in an age of podcasts, in an age of YouTube and Rumble and X and all these other, and Getter and Parler, NPR has outlived its usefulness. Because the point of NPR was what? Hold on. What was the point? What was the point of NPR? I was kind of, let's see. Is to create more informed public by providing in-depth, balanced, and accurate reporting on news, ideas, and cultural events. That's kind of stupid. As ratified by the board of directors. Provide extensive coverage of public events, issues, and ideas. Acquire and produce cultural programs which can be scheduled individually by stations. I mean, all of these things can be done by podcasts and YouTube and streaming platforms. Provide access to intellectual and cultural resources of cities, universities, and rural districts through a system of cooperative programs. Same thing. Produce material specifically intended to develop art and technical potential of radio. All of these things can be done by the myriad of things that exist here. But instead, you're right. This is exactly what NPR is. Radical lesbian who has 15 degrees interviewing some radical communist who has 14 degrees about the usefulness of their stupid degrees. It's propaganda. It's listened to. The majority of people that listen to NPR are awfuls, affluent, white, liberal females, usually with a graduate degree, making six figures. So it's a very specific audience that listens to NPR. And it's a very specific audience that it's intended to, but it's not serving the functions of what it's supposed to be, which is a public radio station. Especially as they're taking money from the government, which they are. They say they don't take that much money, but that money used to get funneled out through other various charities, NGOs, and then spooned up and put in there. So how fake calamari is made. I mean, it's kind of like when they used to say chicken nuggets were made out of like paste, even though they're not. But anyway, Donnie T's come out and said that NPR needs to go. I agree with him because it's outlived its usefulness. All right, this is Rickcast. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. And yes, hey man, I heard that from a couple other people much smarter than me. Affluent, white, female liberals, awfuls. Because they really are. They really are awful people. And that's not because I don't like them. It's because their views are just terribly misinformed most of the time. All right, anyway. Let's see. Let's get to our first story of the night. Yes, it's April Fool's Day. When did April Fool's Day start? We're going to talk about that. And then I have a list of some examples. And then Steph, of course, I had to explain my April Fool's joke, trying to be funny here. And she's like, what does that mean? Listen to NPR. You'll figure it out. Anyway, let's see here. I don't know. Fool's Day to me was funny when you were a kid. When you're an adult, April Fool's Day is more annoying than anything else. It's just like, come on, man. I'm trying to get to work. Or it's actually kind of funny today in the gun community, the amount of fake guns that are put out, and the fact that a lot of people actually believe them. Springfield came out with a 1911 and 45 with a 3-stack design. And I think it was like the 1911 TS for triple stack. And I'm reading it on, this isn't right. And people are actually in the comment section going, this is a great idea. I love this. Don't do that. Don't do that, buddy. Don't fall for any announcements on April Fool's Day. Anyway, when did it start? Maybe if you're like me, you're going, well, when did this stupid day start? Well, many historians trace April Fool's Day back to 1852 or 1582. Though the exact origin is unclear. That year, France changed its calendar system from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar, which the system we now use, shows the new year starting January 1st. However, the Julian calendar showed the new year beginning on the spring equinox, which is usually around April 1st. Many were unaware of the calendar change and continued to celebrate the new year during the last week of March through April 1st. These people were considered the butt of jokes and hoaxes and were named April Fools, which is why we get April Fool's Day. Of course, others believe that April Fools arrived from the Roman festival of Hilaria, which is Latin for joyful. Hilaria was celebrated at the end of March by devotees of the goddess Cybele. And the History Channel says during the festival, followers would dress up in disguise and trick the townspeople. So there's a couple different reasons why we call it April Fool's Day, if you want to trace that back. And here are some of the April Fool's Days pranks that came out there. This was actually, some of them are kind of funny. Like, I actually would dig a Dr. Pepper Tic Tac. And that's the problem with some of these April Fool things. That is really the problem with some of these April Fool jokes, is that some of these products, they really look kind of good. And some people really are disappointed when it happens. Now, this is what Springfield put out. Since somebody brought it up, this is what Springfield put out for their advertisement today. I thought it was hysterical. It was probably the funniest one of the gun ones. So Springfield Armory says the 1911 TS, designed to hold 25 rounds, the core of the 1911 TS lies in its masterfully crafted triple stack magazine. Optics ready and equipped with an ambidextrous safety and a Picatinny rail, the 1911 TS blends the classic features fans love about the 1911 with the cutting edge capacity. And that's what they're trying to tell you will fit 3 stacks. And look at who the people underneath. They're actually like, they believe it. They're yes, finally a 3011. But that was actually the joke of the Springfield TS, which was pretty funny. Smith & Wesson had a pretty good one as well. Theirs was a little bit more believable. Theirs was a little bit easier to actually see. People actually believed that one. See, Smith & Wesson came out with a Volcanic 2.0, which they just slapped a Picatinny rail and an optic. on the old school volcanic. And that one you can be like, all right, that's funny. That's funny because nobody's gonna buy that. The Springfield TS, people probably called Springfield and was asking about the ability to get the Springfield TS. How many people are gonna be sad about those? Right? Lou, I would absolutely kill. I mean, if they came in the little cans, like if they made the little pills, like little Dr. Pepper cans, that would actually kill in Texas because Dr. Pepper is the official drink. I don't know if you're up for Khalifa Tabasco pepper milk. I don't know. People might think that. Let's see. We have the Aura introduces the color changing Aura mood ring. That's kind of lazy. I don't know. That's not very good as far as like challenging. This one is a candle that smells like cat doo-doo. All right. I mean, there are some people that would buy that. People cat. This one, get out of here. I don't want to talk about that one. This is the what is it? The D brand has soft grass you could put on the back of your computer or the back of your phone so you could touch grass. All right. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's topical. So that works well. Protein pack champagne. Now this one probably got some people. This one probably got some people good. Simply because you know how everybody's obsessed with protein. Everybody's obsessed with protein. So this one was Dom Perignon Protein Work announced its own protein pack non-alcoholic champagne, packing 20 grams of protein per glass, named Dom's Proteon. I like that one. I'll give that one a good rate. And I like that. I appreciate that one as well. The protein champagne. You know, some of the crazy fitness people are like, I will take 5. That sounds gross. Let's see. We have Cadbury on the go. Unbelievable. Like, it's got to be a product like chicken taki masala ice cream, butter chicken. Who is this? Deep India Kitchen. Oh, that's gross. Never mind. And then, you know, text to bark. Everybody would love that. And so, yeah, you have a bunch of these companies really take advantage of April Fool's Day. I think Hooters did one yesterday where they said they were being bought back and they were going to go back on the market, which everybody doesn't care about Hooters. So they're like, they're like, yeah, whatever, even if it did. So it's kind of funny. Some of the stuff is good. Most of it is lame. Some guy, a prominent Catholic person on X, put out a post saying Pope Francis rescinded the ban on the Latin Mass. Boy, that did not go well with that dude. That dude put out, Pope Francis rescinded the restrictions on the Latin Mass. Everybody was like, that's not funny. Because people don't have a sense of humor, especially trads. Sorry, trads, you don't have a sense of humor. Yeah, Hooters is terrible food. Hooters existed, and we talked about this before, Brian, back in the time before OnlyFans and all this other kind of, you know, all the accessibility of corn and all this other kind of stuff. So it was really the only place to see smutty looking women. And then all this other stuff came out and people are like, well, I guess I don't need this. I don't need Hooters. I don't need the terrible wings. So you have that. But yes, that's April Fool's Day. It started. You have a couple different reasons why it started. And my favorite was obviously the Springfield triple stack, because people are there. You know, some boomers like, I'll take 5 of your triple stack 1911s. And so, and yeah, but if you go there before and the women were actually attractive. The standards at Hooters has dropped tremendously over the years because they just don't want to work there. And people are like, yeah, no, thanks. So it is what it is in that regard. Not that I've been to a Hooters in 10 years, 10, 15 years. I haven't been to a Hooters or a Tilted Kilt or any of those kinds of restaurants in probably at least 10 years. Because I just don't want to do it. I just don't like going to those places. I don't need it. Don't need the temptation, so don't go. But yes, that's interesting there. Yeah, let's see here. Let's get to our first story here with Luigi Mangione, talking about Luigi Mangione. So today, Pam Bondi, who got roasted today when she made this decision, everybody was like, "Where's the Epstein files, Pam?" But she goes, "I don't know where they are. Look, just be thirsty for me." AG Pam Bondi seeks death penalty for Luigi Mangione. This is news, YouTube. Don't suppress me. This is actual news. I'm not threatening anybody's life. Anytime I talk about Luigi Mangione, this stream just dies. This stream just dies because they think I'm like threatening somebody, even though I'm not. Anyway, so here you go. Here is a little video to let you know.
Said Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione. He's the man charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City street back in December. With us now, MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalas. Danny, good morning. So what is exactly the Justice Department saying, and what are they basing it on?
Well, one of the crimes Mangione is charged with is murder with a firearm, which is a capital offense under federal law. So the death penalty is a possibility. But in federal death penalty cases, it is a two-stage process. The jury not only decides guilt, but then they are the ones who ultimately decide whether the defendant lives or is put to death. It is not the judge that hands out the sentence. That's why death penalty juries have to be qualified, and it's a much more onerous process.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what's going on. I mean, there was really not much news today. There's the possibility, I'll talk about it in a second, but so this was put out today by the Justice of the Department of Justice X feed. Luigi Mangione's murder of Brian Thompson, an innocent man and father of two young children, was premeditated, cold-blooded assassination that shocked America. After careful consideration, I have directed the federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty in this case as we carry out President Trump's agenda to stop violent crime and make America safe again. Now, there is some potential problems, not problems. I mean, this guy is, if he is the actual perpetrator, which there are interesting theories around the fact that he's kind of a patsy or a fall guy because he doesn't match the initial reports of the person that was identified in the crime, and then he was caught at a McDonald's with the manifesto and the weapons and all this other kind of stuff. And so we'll see how that is. Yeah, I don't know why they chose to highlight that. Probably because NBC's anti-gun, so they're gonna try and make it like, ooh, watch out if you use a firearm, unlike in London, if you use a knife, they give you a promotion or a ninja sword until they're outlawed. So there is that. So we have this, but so now the case is going to go to trial, right? So Attorney Pam Bondi on Tuesday directed federal prosecutors seek the death penalty. Let's see. He's Thompson, blah, blah, blah. She said. So when this goes to trial, I have a feeling this is going to go to trial in the middle of the summer. And this is going to be another brick. Yeah, right, Lou, but he's innocent. Lou is killing it over there on Rumble. My Rumblers, y'all join Lou. She's killing it over there with that. So Pam Bondi has put the death penalty on the table. This could be another brick in a potentially violent summer because he is revered by the left. I mean, look at this headline here. I bet you all, we didn't talk about this. Get out of here, New York Post, with your crap. Your ads. I hate all of you. Anyway, California ballot measure named after Luigi Mangione will make it illegal to deny healthcare coverage. So Californians could soon be voting on a new healthcare bill. And this was back in 2 days ago? So, no. California could soon be voting on a new healthcare law named after Luigi Mangione, the Ivy League, blah, blah, blah. The Luigi Mangione Access to Healthcare Act was put forward by retired Los Angeles attorney Paul Eisner. Why am I reading that? Because he is a hero to them. And much like the Kyle Rittenhouse case was a tipping point, and much like other high profile cases have led to riots and things, if they put him, if he is found guilty and given the harshest punishment, that could lead to violence in his name. So it's just another fuse that could be used, not meaning to rhyme. It's another fuse that could be a trigger for a violent summer. Because you and I have been talking about the fact that it could get very frosty in the summer. Now, of course, when we talk about health insurance, we blame the federal government for getting its grubby hands in there and mucking up the process and making healthcare coverage more expensive and more cost prohibitive than it actually should be. So it is interesting in that regard to seeing all this. So this came out today. We're just kind of steadily rolling towards this trial. And it's just something we have to keep our eye on. Because with this and the Elon Musk protests and the potential conflict with Iran that people think is right around the corner, military groups being dispatched to the Gulf, targeting of certain military bases, all of these things that is not, nothing is confirmed, but there's a lot of whispers. There seems to be a lot of whispers and things going around about a potential conflict in Iran. That could be another thing that could be a trigger for a violent summer. So I'm just trying to lay out pieces and lay out some stuff like, hey, I don't know, but this man has inspired so much devotion. I was about to say devotion on the left, that if he is found guilty and it is given the harshest sentence possible, it could result in some pretty, I don't want to say tragic, but some recourse from the left. And I'm not talking about dancing in front of Tesla dealerships. I'm talking about actual violent recourse that I don't want to see, and I don't think anybody wants to see. But that's that could be a possibility. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Cast. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell if you like what we're doing. I would like to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. And yeah, I understand the healthcare arguments, guys. I do. I'm not defending the healthcare system, but I am defending the fact that vengeance is not ours. You have no right, and I am the armed Catholic. I wrote a book on it, where there's a difference between self-defense and vengeance. And what whoever partook and committed the crime against the healthcare CEO, whether it was Luigi Mangione or somebody else, they took vengeance, and that is not our job. That is not for us. And I think people, I don't like the healthcare system either. I got booted off my healthcare here in Texas because of Obamacare. I got Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I had them for a couple years, and then they dropped me when they left the state. I was lucky that my wife had a job that I was able to get taken on with hers, but and we've talked about it when we talked about the Luigi Mangione case. I'm not excusing the healthcare system, but I also am smart enough to realize that it is the government's fault that the healthcare system is as bad as it is. And to deny that is to deny a fact of life. So single payer healthcare is not the answer. Crotchety. It is not single payer healthcare. If you think it's bad now, look at places like Canada. They want to brag about their healthcare system, but it's awful. You're better off. You're better off as a pet in Canada getting medical treatment than a person. Pets have a better chance of going to see a doctor than a person does. Yeah, you're right, Lou. He was born with a silver spoon, and it's not like he had a problem with it. He was just, he was entitled. He thought he was entitled to something, and he was mad that it didn't happen, that he wasn't able to get it. So here's what it is. Anyway, so that's just another thing to keep aware of. We'll keep our eye on it, see how it progresses as we get closer to the summer. It's already April, right? We're what? At best 2 months away, April, May, and then June we're into the summer, and it's gonna get hot out there. So hopefully it won't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to our next story, probably the most controversial story of the night, and that's why I want to talk about it. All right, this is from Axios.com. U.S. Representative Peterson scores bipartisan win on proxy voting, and here she is with the child that she apparently cannot leave. She cannot be in the house because she has a child, yet she was able to bring her child to the house today. Okay. This one actually grinds my gears like you would not believe. So, U.S. Representative Brittany Peterson celebrated a win, a bipartisan win, which means you and I got screwed. The Lakewood Democrat was joined by U.S. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, your thirsty trap rep from Florida, and backing a resolution to allow members of Congress who are new parents to vote by proxy. You think this is going to stick to just new parents? A, if you're a new parent, you shouldn't be in government, any level of government. I'm even talking like local aldermen. By being in government, you are providing a disservice to your child. Okay? Don't give me this nonsense about, oh, well, I just wanted to be able to. No. Why are you even working? You have a brand new kid. And what about the fact that you get to do proxy voting? What about the single mom that has to pay for a nanny so she can go to work? What about her? Because this lady's married. This lady is married and she has, I think, and she has other means. So this idea that she needs to have some kind of proxy voting, so she has this, you know what it is? We were talking about in the last segment, entitled nature, right? This baby's a newborn, and she's claiming that she cannot go to work and go do her job because she has a newborn. Yet she was able to figure out how to bring the newborn down today. That's the first thing. Take a look.
I rise today in strong opposition to this rule, which restricts moms and dads from doing their jobs after welcoming a new child.
Why are you even doing it then? It's not like the baby was a surprise. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm pregnant. Well, I can't believe it. I just became a member of Congress and this baby popped out. No, you cannot do that. You knew you were going to have a kid as you were going into the house. You should have not been allowed to do it. There should not be, if you are a female and you just had a kid, you can't serve in government. Sorry. Can't serve two masters.
Like so many of our colleagues, it's one of my greatest honors to be a mom.
Obviously not, because you're more concerned about being in government because you're dragging this kid onto the House floor.
I have two little boys, a son named Davis, who's 5, and my little guy here, Sam, who's now 9 weeks old.
Who shall probably
transition in a couple weeks. It's also one of my greatest honors to have been elected by my constituents to represent them in Congress. And I can tell you, after being a mom here and being only the 13th member to have ever given birth while serving in Congress.
Who gives a rip? Oh, I'm the 14th member to ever have an ankle twist on the moonlight of the December 5th. I like how they do the qualifiers. Now they have the 13th member of Congress ever. Congratulations. Once again, you understand your biology. You apparently have had kids before. This should not be a shock. You should not be working.
Voting member. I can tell you we have a long ways to go to make this place accessible for young families like mine. When I was pregnant, I couldn't fly towards the end of my due date because
whose fault is that? Well, I guess we should be happy she didn't board the kid.
It was unsafe for Sam, and you're unable to board a plane, and I was unable to actually have my vote represented here and my constituents represented.
Yes,
After
you are
giving
doing a
birth,
disservice to your constituents. If you had any honor, if you had any integrity, you would step down. Well, I can't right now because I'm a mother and I want to make sure my baby is taken care of. So maybe I'll run in 2 years because it's a House term. It's 2 years. You know, when my child is a couple years older, maybe I'll run again. But right now I have to focus and I have to take care of my child. There was a story a couple weeks ago. The girl who played Trinity in The Matrix, Carrie Ann Moss, after the Matrix movie, she had a kid. And she actually had to sit down and there's a reason why I didn't see her for like 10 years. She said, guess what? I wanted to be a mom. I didn't want to be a part-time any of this. I decided I would give up my career for a little bit and raise my child. Now she's back doing films and stuff. The fact that, you know, women take their children, and of course she doesn't care. She's a Democrat. She'll put them in an indoctrination center tomorrow. But the way she's using this kid for leverage for this proxy vote, and it's only for new parents. Okay.
Faced with an impossible decision. Sam was
not an impossible decision. It's not. It's only an impossible decision if you value power more than your child.
And for all of the parents here, we know that when we have newborns, it's when they're the most vulnerable in their life.
Then why did you drag your child to Congress and onto the House floor? But we can't question because we live in a matriarchal culture that says, oh, no. Whatever the woman says is correct. Whatever the woman, woman, yay, we need to worship you. We need to make sure that your every need is met. While she neglects her duties as a mom.
When they need 24/7 care, when taking them even to a grocery store.
Then what the hell are you doing right now? I can't even listen to the rest of this. I can't even listen to the rest of this. It's ridiculous. And it angers me because we literally had to bow down to this woman who used her child as emotional blackmail, who is saying, well, I can't, they need 24-hour care while I drag them to the house so you can do what I want. The proposed resolution marks a tentative victory for Peterson and other parents or aspiring parents serving in Congress. It's a major loss for Johnson, who attempted to snuff out this resolution, angering some Republicans as it tied proxy voting to a bill prohibiting non-citizens from voting in federal elections. Here's what old Speaker Johnson had to say about that.
Well, it's a very disappointing result on the floor there. A handful of Republicans joined with all the Democrats to take down a rule. That's rarely done. It's very unfortunate in this case. 96% of House Republicans voted against proxy voting because they believe it's unconstitutional and they agree that it would open a Pandora's box. And so that we just saw. Let me just make this clear. That rule being brought down means that we can't have any further action on the floor this week. That means we will not be voting on the SAVE Act for election integrity. We will not be voting on the rogue judges who are attacking President Trump's agenda. We will not be taking down these terrible Biden policies with the CRA votes. All that was just wiped off the table. It's very unfortunate. We'll regroup and come back, and we'll have to do this again.
Mr. Speaker, were you asked?
So what you have is a case of covert feminism, and you have these simps, these weak men supporting it, like this representative here.
Tim Burchett's leaving the House floor. Luna, tell us what we just did.
We just changed the House rules to allow new parents to vote after the birth of the child.
Seems pretty reasonable to me.
And I will say, this guy's getting ripped apart on X. I called him a simp. I'm like, you're a simp, dude. You're a simp for this nonsense.
Sweet little baby right there.
Yeah, hi. Look at my child that I can't take anywhere, but I can conveniently take them to the house right now while I bitch about not being able to take them anywhere. What in the actual godforsaken nonsense is this? And this is the reason it's a uniparty. This is the reason it's a uniparty, folks. And who's the only man speaking out against this? Your friend and mine, Thomas Massie, the only guy with any sense anywhere else. The fight over allowing congressmen to vote by proxy caused the speaker to cancel all votes in Congress this week. Proxy voting is unconstitutional, period. It's a foolish to delay our agenda for an entire week. But we did it so Anna Paul Luna, who can inject more covert feminism into this whole thing. That's all this is, guys. Covert feminism. What is covert feminism? It is when women who are feminists disguise themselves as trad conservative women, and then when they get into positions of power, they move the needle towards the feminist cause under the guise of feminism. Under the guise of conservatism. Think Tommy Lauren. Think her. Think pretty much Ashley St. Clair. Remember the conservative baby mama that she was? She's a covert feminist. All of these women, get jobs at conservative networks because conservative men are among some of the thirstiest men on the planet. And all you got to do is stick a blonde in front of the TV in a tight outfit, and she could literally read the phone book, and they'll just stand there staring at them all day because they're sexually deviant. Oh man, you see how hot like Tommy Lauren is? You see how hot Megyn Kelly is? Megyn Kelly could literally be reading the comic section of the paper and everybody be like, yeah, I agree with that too. We have to do it, man. Yeah, Lou, her hormones are all over the place. A pregnant woman shouldn't be allowed to vote. What if this woman has postpartum and she's at home and now she's voting on sending your kid to war? And let me rephrase this. What happens, because it's only for new parents, until Mitch McConnell or somebody else that's 9,000 years old says, I need to vote by proxy because I had surgery and I can't get back to Washington in time, so I won't be able to vote, but I'll vote by proxy. And then he dies. Not him. I'm not saying YouTube that he's dying. Let's say an elder congressperson like Dianne Feinstein. Instead of wheeling her back into Congress, they just keep her in California. One day she dies. Like we all do. And nobody knows because you know why? One of her staffers will just vote the way they want. Boop, 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 boop. They'll stick a picture of her face on there. Boop, 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 boop. Vote, vote, vote. This is going to be abused all over the place, but we had to do it because we have to serve women. We cannot do the greater good. We have to serve feminism and all of its wonderful nonsense. It's absolute. Yes, Sydney Watson was probably one of the first covert feminists, one of the absolute first, right? And so this is an absolute waste. It's an embarrassment. And I'll give this one woman actually push back on it. And it's the one and only. You may not like her. I don't like everything she does, but MGT, she nails it.
Luna's bill is extremely unfortunate. You know, being in Congress is a privilege. You don't have to be here.
That's exactly right. This other lady holding her baby. Well, it's my constituent. Shut the F up and get out. You're not entitled to that seat. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit I'm getting a little bit off the rails here. Leave. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be in Congress. The people of Colorado are so smoked out on weed, they wouldn't even know if it was you or if it was literally a blow-up doll. They have no idea who you are. You think you're so important that we have to change 250 odd years of history in the House, the rules that are set for you. And Representative Paulina Luna, who's a covert feminist, just like everybody else, said this is a perfect opportunity to ram down some more matriarchy down the throats of these simp, weak men. I'll give Johnson credit. He at least tried to do it. He at least tried to stop it. But you have these sick, spineless, feckless Republicans constantly making a fool out of everybody. That guy, Tim, look at us with the baby. Oh, the baby's so cute. That lady would vote to stab you in the back tomorrow, Tim. You're bending over backwards for it. You're bending over backwards for this woman that would literally, send you to the gulag if she had a chance.
And there's plenty of people in her district that could serve in Congress if she chose for time to be home and be a mother. I'm very much against the bill that she's trying to force to the floor and the way she's going about it, and I think it's wrong. And it's really going to open up the door to proxy voting, which is already unconstitutional.
Thank you.
And we shouldn't be doing it. And I think members of Congress need to basically leave their egos at the door and realize that this is an important job. In the same way that soldiers go off and they're deployed overseas, they come home and actually meet their babies for the first time, and their babies are several months old. Members of Congress don't have to be here. They don't have to be here. Being a member of Congress is a privilege. You're serving your district. There's lots of seasons of life. I'm a mother. I've raised
Mendez, you're not gonna like this. Trump's a simp on this one. Trump is a simp on this one. He'll, you know what? It's a great idea. Let the women do it. Blah blah blah. Because he's underwater with women and he never wants to piss them off now, so he doesn't. He won't say nothing. He won't.
3 children.
I like Trump on a lot of things. He won't say squat on this.
When my children were babies and were young, I prioritized them in that season of life. Now I serve in Congress because I'm not raising children. And I think that's a really important point to make. And if any member of Congress, for any reason whatsoever, finds them in a situation where they're not able to do the job here, the important job we're elected to do, they should step down because someone else can serve in their place. They're not required to be here. They're not more important than anyone. They're not more important than people in their district. And
that's what this lady literally forced everybody to do. And you simp Republican men went along with it. For a photo op? For a photo? Look at her taking a picture with the baby. Oh, look at the baby. Yeah, that lady would have killed that baby if that baby was going to prevent her in any way, shape, or form, she probably would have killed it. Sorry, hard truth bomb here. That Democratic lady would have killed that child if that child was going to get in the way. Because they believe in that, folks. You're bending over backwards for it for a woman that probably would have killed that kid if it was inconvenient. We don't want to talk about these things, but that is the absolute truth.
And they shouldn't go across the aisle and work with Democrats while Democrats use a baby propped up around the floor trying to prove their point. But instead, they're holding a baby proving the point you can be a mother and serve in Congress. So I think today, I think this is unfortunate and it's distracting and it's off message and it's not the agenda. It's not serving the American people.
You know what? She does some stuff I don't like, but bravo, MGT. I've been screaming for 10 minutes about it, but that's really the point, is that the matriarchal culture is here. All right. When I talk about the matriarchal culture, the weak men, 100%, the weak men that said, I'm sorry. I love the fact that you're a mom, but you should prioritize your child for 2 years. You're a house member. You can leave for 2 years and come back. Oh, you want to keep your seat because you're a power-hungry witch? Oh, okay, that's what you want. You don't want to prioritize the child. You want to keep your seat in power because you have such a bloviated sense of self that you think you're actually important in a body of 435 people. We're going to change the thing for 435 people for you. Ridiculous. Obviously you can tell this story has just chapped me sideways because it's more men stepping aside. Lack of leadership, lack of male leadership here. And as she said, and as Thomas Massey said, and as I've said, this is a Pandora's box of terrible ideas that'll go forth. For what? For what? I hope it was worth it. It's not going to be. First of all, you lost the rest of the week because now they can't do anything else. Because, Johnson thought he was doing a slick move, and it probably would have been a slick move. Tim Burchett, you're right, Lou. Tim Burchett had supposedly been a rock star up until this moment. But now, no. Little wussy man. Just had to bend over. Oh, you're a mom. It's kind of that joke on Family Guy when I'll cut the clip and I'll put it in my repertoire. When there's a person at the bar looking at some spicy material and the bartender goes, "Sir, you can't look at that." And the person goes, "It's okay. He goes, "Oh, it's okay. I'm a transgender." And the bartender goes, "Oh, that's fine. Do whatever you want. That's fine. Please feel free to do whatever you want." Same thing here. It's like, ma'am, you can't proxy vote. Oh, well, I'm a mother. Oh, quick, let's burn the Constitution for mama over here. Let's burn the Constitution for a party that wants to murder children in the womb. Great job, guys. Yeah, no, you're right. When I mean rock star, he's been very viral. He's had some viral moments. That's a good point, Crotchety. He's not a rock star. He's had some viral moments that the kids say would make him base. But now he just showed his true colors. So it is what it is. But if you like the rant, do me a huge favor on Rumble and on YouTube. If you guys could all hit the like button, if you agree with my rant, it helps the algorithm tremendously and it gets the show out to more people. Rumble and YouTube, smash that like button. And if you're on X and you like to repost it and let people know that I call them out both sides. I call them out on both sides. I'm a Catholic. I only serve our Lord and Savior. I serve our Lord and Savior. I don't serve the U.S. government. There is no messianic figure in Washington, D.C. They all need to be called out. Republicans need to be called out just as much as Democrats at this point, especially when they do stupid ass crap like this. Optimus Prime agrees with me. Yeah, see, there's a new addition tonight. Optimus. Optimus is my latest addition to the backdrop and my firearm rosary over there. Thank you guys. So yeah, brought to you by Mike Willow. Use promo code RANT. Promo code RANT. All right. That felt good because I was watching this thing all day and my blood was just boiling every single time I saw this. Another one of these things. I'm just like, you got to be freaking kidding me watching this stuff. And all these men just giving up their we're done with it. We're done. We're moving on. Last story of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Our final story. John Wick 5, set with Keanu Reeves and director Chad Stahelski, is coming up. News comes as Lionsgate spinoff Ballerina is set to hit theaters this summer. Now, this could be one of two things. This could be one of three things. This could be an April Fool's joke. This could be real, or this could be elaborate promotion for Ballerina. Studios will do things like this. When movies are coming out, they will promote them by saying, hey, you want to make sure you see the Ballerina because we have John Wick Chapter 5 coming up and we have some spinoffs that are coming. So you got to make sure you see the Ballerina to be a part of the whole universe. Now, I'm a John Wick fan. I'll probably end up having a John Wick figure somewhere back here because I got a couple more shelves and stuff that I got to put up there. John Wick will probably make his way onto these shelves. But the idea is, I have a feeling there's another way they do this. They say this, or they do the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Those are actually paid for by the movie companies, Warner Brothers, Disney, Universal. They do it because it's promotion. Like, oh, this person's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and make sure you go see my new movie, Puppy Love 5, or whatever the case may be. It's always promotion. Everything that the trades and all this stuff do is promotion. And maybe what they're getting is, although there's a core base like myself who I think the Ballerina looks really good. I'm going to go see it and I'm going to do it for Rick Reviews. I'm anticipating it. But there's probably a lot of people that are like, I don't know if I want to see it. You know, the Continental wasn't that good. Maybe the John Wick universe is good only with, Keanu Reeves. So maybe this is something, because they could easily announce after the Ballerina comes out, and it could go one of two ways. If the Ballerina comes out and does really well, then they can say, yeah, we're going to go forward with it, and it's going to be great. If the Ballerina movie bombs, they can be like, the contracts and everything, they didn't work out, and everything fell through. This happens more often than not. It's all promotion. But I'll tell you, if they do, how that'll work in a moment. After years of speculation about the franchise's future, John Wick Chapter 5 is officially moving forward at Lionsgate. Keanu Reeves with director Chad Stahelski are both back for the feature following previous installment. Lionsgate Motion Picture Group. What are you doing? What are you doing? Lionsgate Motion Picture. Okay, I guess we're not doing that. I can't highlight it. Lionsgate Motion Picture Group Chair Adam Folkson announced at CinemaCon on Tuesday that the studio is in development for a fifth installment of the action film franchise. Lionsgate is developing movies with Thunder Road producer, whoever, and the franchise director and producer Stahelski and producer Star Reeves. Keanu, Chad, Balls, whatever, would not return unless they had something truly phenomenal and fresh to say, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is the reason why. This is the reason why. This movie right here, Ballerina with Ana de Armas. So that's this whole article is to promote that movie. So let's say, the John Wick films, the John Wick franchise has amassed $1 billion. So even if they came out with a Chapter 5, it would still make money because let's be real. we all love Keanu Reeves. Most of us love Keanu Reeves, and most of us love the John Wick franchise. So even if it does Chapter 5, I would buy my tickets. I'd go see it. Yada, yada, yada. So, okay. Let's say Ballerina comes out and it does really well. And they say, well, all right, we're going to go forward with a John Wick Chapter 5. The only way this movie works, if it is truly a continuation of the John Wick saga, is John Wick is the man above the table. That's all it can be. That's all it can be. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, he's got a wicked awesome motorcycle collection. John has to be the man above that. He has got to be the man above the high table. That's it. That's the only way the film works. He can't be running anymore. He killed like half of the universe. And the high table, after losing in John Wick Chapter 4, would probably propose to him, hey, you almost died in your face off. The debt is called off. Everything's been wiped clean. Obviously, we can't kill you. So we're going to make you the man above the high table. We're going to put you out there in the desert or wherever the case may be. And you can live out the rest of your life, in loving memory of your wife. And you can have 400 dogs. Yeah, that's the thing. So Mr. Grumpy, yeah, he's even Keanu Reeves even said a couple weeks ago, he's like, yeah, the guy's dead. So which is another reason why they would say that. So here's how it does. It opens up. John Wick is in a hospital somewhere, all shot up, and they thought he was dead. And there's somebody from the high table, will be a new person they introduce, and they'll say, John, I think we need to come to an agreement. This has gone too far. Would you be the man above the table? Would you be the man above the high table? And he'll probably go, yeah. He'll just go, yeah. And so that'll be the opening, and something will happen where if they really wanted to make this movie, I really wish they brought Halle Berry's character back, because she was awesome in the John Wick franchise. I thought it was really disappointing that she didn't get a second movie, because she worked just as hard in that John Wick film. Plus her two dogs were pretty awesome. The two, I think she had German Shepherds. And so the fact that she didn't get an extra film would be a great time. So Sophia, I'd like to see them bring back Sophia and make her the character of John Wick Chapter 5, her working with John, maybe trying to protect her daughter. If you remember John Wick Chapter 3, Halle Berry has a daughter somewhere out in the world that only John knows about. And so Halle Berry has to comes to him and says, listen, John, you owe me a favor now. I helped you out. You got to help me because they're going after my daughter. And he's like, yeah. And so he just, he straps up, and they go and they just like murder 100 people. That would be a fantastic way to continue the franchise. I think that would work. Doesn't have to be a romance. No romances. John loves his wife, and that's why the murder of the one dog set him on a 400 person killing spree. So that's how I think it works. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, because it makes sense, because they can't put John anywhere else. They can't let him leave. They got the high table has to keep their eye on him. So they'll be like, all right, you'll be the man above the table. Just go out in the middle of the desert and hang out. And so it's I think that's the only way it works. You let me know if you think that works. Make Sophia the main character, because her character had a lot of positive buzz around her. Bring back Donnie Yen, the blind guy. Bring back everybody. Make it like Avengers Endgame. Bring back 400 people for it. But that's the only way it works if they're going to make this film. Of course, they're not going to listen to me because they think they actually know anything. Now, if this goes, I do trust Chad Stahelski, and I trust Keanu Reeves to actually make something decent. And that's the only one that they can announce it. And I go, all right, I'll give it a chance, just because I could watch I have all 4 John Wick movies. I watch them once a year. I watch them back to back to back once a year. Because, you just kind of have to. And, the problem is, as great as, they do have the vet guy, the wandering vet guy. Are you talking about Donnie Yen? The blind guy? Apparently he's getting a spin-off movie too, which I would go see, because that guy's awesome. But Father Time catches up to everybody. Keanu Reeves cannot do the stuff that he did in the first John Wick movie. He just can't. So you got to use him for one or two big action set pieces while keeping him kind of in the background. And I would be okay with it. You let me know what you think. You know, the crazy thing is, Mark, they actually announced a while back that they were going to remake Constantine, or they're going to do a sequel. But Warner Brothers is in such terrible shape that I think it got canceled. Even though Keanu Reeves has said a couple times that he would love to do a second Constantine. And that's a great film. I love watching Constantine. Constantine's a very Catholic film if you watch it, about redemption and so forth. Plus he's got the shotgun with the cross on it, which is awesome. So that is the announcement here. I think it could work if they followed my plan. You can tell me your plan in the comment section down below. I'd love to see it. And if you think that the John Wick franchise has any juice left, and we'll see. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So we'll just have to go on from there. Or should John Wick just stay dead? Or do you think that it's tied to the ballerina? Does the ballerina have to succeed for them to greenlight Chapter 5? Is this just promotion because then they can bring her into the next film and all this other kind of stuff? There's a lot of things they can go on from there, but it's interesting. What coincidence? Off topic on what? What's your question? So I'm about to sign off, Steph. So if you have a question, bring it up. So we'll see about that. All right, folks, unless there's any questions or anything like that, I'm going to sign off because in about 45 minutes, Daredevil episode 7. All right, here we go. One of the recipients of Elon Musk's $1 million checks at his events in Green Bay Sunday night is the chairman of the Wisconsin College Republicans, sparking some suspicion. No, I mean, whatever. Steph, if we want to go down the rabbit hole of billionaires giving out money to people in suspicious circumstances, we can look at the $500 million George Soros and his son have given out to people over the last 10 years. That's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, Steph. I know you think that billionaires giving out money to people is a new thing, but the Soros and company crafted that narrative. So it is what it is. Yeah, crotchety. It would be nice to not have, to have the stakes of somebody dying, staying dead. But Hollywood is A, creatively bankrupt, and B, there's no way. If there's money on the table, they're going to try something. So we'll see about that. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for hanging out with me tonight on Rickcast. If you like the show, Rumblers, I know there's at least 4 of you on Rumble. Pound the like button. Help me out on Rumble. We're almost at 100 followers on Rumble, which is a huge deal. We're clawing our way up on Rumble, and we're doing a good time on that platform. I love being on there, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content on there as well. My YouTubers, as always, you guys are holding it down, killing it in the comment section. If everybody can smash the like button on the way out, that'd be great as well. People on X, if you like it, we actually got up to over 200 people on X. If you like it, repost it and let me know what you think. I will talk to y'all tomorrow, folks. There will be nothing new this week. This is it for the background. There's nothing new coming in because I got to wait paycheck to paycheck to kind of build it up. But that NPR. Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow I'm going to tweet at them. I'm going to tweet at them every day until I get a response. If I can get on NPR, we'll see. That'd be a lot of fun. We would have a lot of fun with them. All right, guys, I will see you either in a little bit for the Daredevil review, or I will see you tomorrow. Either way, God bless, ladies and gentlemen. You stay safe. And until that day comes, free Dexter Taylor.